Alright, so again, day 4, dividing. First few problems are easy because it says dividing by multiplying by the reciprocal of the divisor, so that's easy. You're changing each problem into a multiplication and then multiplying by the reciprocal. So let's take a look at the first one. 3/5 divided by 1/4, and you want to keep the first one the same. Change that to multiplication and flip that, and you get 12/5, which as a mixed number becomes 2 2/5. 5 goes into 12 two times, left over 2/5. 6/7 divided by 2/3. Again, 6/7 multiplied by the reciprocal, 3/2. It's going to be 18/21. You can simplify, divide the top and bottom by 3, you get 6/7. Next we have 3.5 divided by 2 1/4. Okay, before you do anything, you change this one improper. This becomes 7/2 divided by 9/4. Okay, remember, multiply, add. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now you're ready to do the, keep the first fraction the same, multiply by the reciprocal, 4/9, and you get 28/18, which can be simplified to divide by 2, 14/9, and that changes to mixed number 1 and 5/9. Next we have 7, a whole number, divided by 2/5. That's okay. Put it over 1, and then keep, change the multiplication, reciprocal, 35/2. And that gives you, I don't know, 17.5. Okay, 2 goes into 35 17 times, 1 left over 2. And finally, a fraction divided by a whole number. Not a big deal. Put this over 1, and then keep that. Change the multiplication and turn it around, 1/8. And you get 5/72. Alright. Now, for the next problems, you should have watched the video, the review video, okay? Because otherwise, it's very hard to understand what I wrote here. Next problems, I would like you to divide by following these steps. Find the LCM of the denominators. Find the LCM if the denominators are different. Cross out the denominators and just divide the numerators. Lastly, I want you to draw models based on fractions with the same denominator. So, let's look at the example that I gave you. Okay, I talked about it. I talked about these in the video, so I shouldn't be going over these. But I'll just do this one. 2/3 divided by 1/4. Well, the denominators are different, so we're going to find the LCM, which is 12. So let's adjust our fractions so that they're equivalent to the original ones, and that would be an 8, and this would be a 3. Okay. Now we're not gonna change this to multiplication. We're not gonna flip. We're not gonna use reciprocals. We're gonna keep it this way, a division problem. Okay, and we can keep it. And we only do that if we find the LCM. Okay, so now that we have the LCM, we can cross these out, and this essentially becomes 8 divided by 3. And 8 divided by 3, you can leave it as a fraction like that, which means the same thing. And you can then change it to a mixed number. 3 goes into 8 two times, 2 left over 3. Okay, so what's 8 divided by 3? 8 divided by 3 means this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Divided by 3 means you want to make groups of 3. Well, there's one group of 3. There's my second group of 3, and that's how I got my whole number right here. Now I'm going to try to make another group of 3, but I can't. But yet I can make almost the whole thing, except it's going to be 2 out of the 3 that I originally wanted. So that's how I get the fraction 2 over 3. Okay, why do I like this method? I particularly like this method when they ask you to model it. Okay, you're not going to model using the original fraction, 2/3 divided by 4, because that's a pain. It's much easier if you model using 8 12s divided by 3 12s. And I'm going to do this a little bit lower over here. When the fractions are the same, the units are the same, it's much easier to draw and show people what you're talking about. Okay, so instead of talking about, don't you love when the screen just goes up and down, up and down. Right. Much easier to draw and explain to people what 8 12 divided by 3 12 is than 2/3 divided by 1/4. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so 8 12s is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8 12s would be, change colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, that would be 8 12. So you have something that's 12 slices, but you only have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you have 3 12. So you want to show people how many times 3 12, which is this group right here, can fit in this bigger group. Well, that's 3 12s. That's like make one group. That's another 3 12s. You can make another group, number 2. And just like when we did it here, you're going to try and make another group of 3 12s, but you don't have 3 12s, you only have 2 12s. So it's 2 out of the 3 that you were trying to make. So the answer is the same. Okay? So for the next few questions here, we're going to, depending how big the numbers I did, we're going to do both. We're going to draw models too. So first one, 3/4 divided by 1/3. Okay, so you get LCM is 12. It'll be 9 and over 4. Okay, you can cross these out. Okay, it's completely okay. And you get now a problem that says 9 divided by 4. 9 divided by 4 is 9 over 4 as a fraction. It means the same thing. And then you can change this to a mixed number. So 4 goes into 9 2 times and 1 left over out of 4. Showing with pictures, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to make groups of 4. There's my first group of 4. There's my second group of 4. Can I make a third group of 4? No, but I can make 1 out of the 4 that I wanted. Perfectly fine if you do it this way. Show them that you changed the original 2 fractions to 2 new equivalent fractions, same denominator of course. Cross it out, it becomes a new problem, 9 divided by 4, which is essentially the same thing as 9 12 divided by 4 12. Okay, not a big deal at all. 5 6 divided by half. LCM in this case is 6. That stays, and this is times 3. So it's times 3 on top, which becomes 3 over 6. Cross these out. Becomes 5 divided by 3, or 5 over 3. 3 goes into 5 one time, 2 left over 3. Using sticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many groups of 3 can you make? I can make one group of 3 and 2/3 of the next one. Okay. Bottom one, 7/8 divided by 3/4. Okay. LCM is 8. That stays the same. 4 times 2, and this is 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay, so you can cross it out. You know what? This one I won't cross it out, because I want you to use pictures. I want you to use the pictures in terms of 8s. Okay, so let's not cross this one out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here on top, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And at the bottom, change colors, we got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these squares are the same size, okay? They're cut into 1/8. So how many times can 6/8 go into 7/8? Well, you can make right here, up to here, one nice group of 6, right? And you're going to try to make another group of 6, but you can't. But you can make 1 out of the 6 that you were trying. So your answer is 1 over 6. And just to show you that if you were going to cross this out, you get 7 over 6, which is the same thing as 1 and 1 over 6. And using sticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Trying to make groups of 6. There's my group of 6, which is my whole number. I'm going to make another group of 6, but I can't. But I can make 1 out of 6. Okay? 5 divided by 2/3. Okay? If you find the LCM here, it's 3, because if you're going to put this 5 over 1, the LCM is 3. We got 2 over here, and it's times 3, so top times 3, which is 15. You got 15/3 divided by 2, and cross these out, and 15 over 2, which is 7.5. Okay, if you have 15 sticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Try to make a group of 2s. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups right here, and 1 out of the next 2 that you're making. Okay, if you want to draw it with 15/3 and 2/3, it's going to be, this is what 15/3 look like. I can show you what 2/3 look like, which is this right here. I'll show you this in different colors. So let me go back. This is what 2/3 look like. It's exactly the same box. All right, and 15/3 would be, that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, 9/3, 10/3, 11/3, 12/3, 13/3, 14/3, 15/3. You have 15 pieces that have 1/3 each. So 1/3. Each of these is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. How many of those do you have? 15. So here's 15/3 and here's 2/3. How many times can you make groups of 2/3? Well, you can make, let me try to circle this with red. One group here. Make another group here. Another one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups, and 1/2 of the second one, which is exactly what you got here, and this is sticks as well. Okay? And what was that? 5 divided by 2/3. Okay, so do we have any more? We've got a couple more. Now this one is a fraction divided by a whole number. 4/5 divided by 3. Okay, so 4/5 divided by, let's find the LCM. Okay, the LCM is 5, so it's times 5 here, so it's times 5 on top, it's 15. Okay, so cross these out, it becomes 4 over 15. Okay, if you want an explanation for the answer there, you can draw 4 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're trying to make groups of 15. Can you make a group of 15 out of 4? No, you can't. But you can make a group of 4. So out of the 15 that you were trying to circle, and you were trying to circle every 15, you weren't able because there's not enough, obviously. But you did manage to circle 4 out of the 15 that you were trying. If you're going to use drawings, this is what 4/5 looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you have, 4/5. Okay, and then this is what 15 over 5 would look like. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10/5, 11/5, 12/5, 13/5, 14/5, 15/5. You have 15 pieces, and each of them is 1/5. That's what 15/5 means. So how many times can these guys right here fit into here? Well, obviously you can't fit them all, but you can fit 4. Right? 4 of these guys here can fit in here out of the 15 that you were trying to do originally. Okay? One last question. Christina has 9/10 cup of sugar, so she has this much cup of sugar. So imagine this is a cup of sugar. 9/10 will be filled pretty close to the top. Okay, so that's how much sugar you have, almost about there. Okay, all this is a cup of sugar. Right, so, and then she has a recipe that says same cup, and that recipe says it needs to make cookies. So to make one batch of cookie, the recipe needs this much sugar. So if you have this, okay, how many of these can fit in here? All right, so you're going to get 9/10, and you're going to divide it by 1/4. If you have this much and you need 1/4, how many 1/4 can you fit into 9/10? Well, find the LCM is 20. That's 10 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. 4 times 5, which is 5. So now we have, you cross these out, and you get 18 divided by 15, which is 18 over 5. That makes change to mixed number. 5 goes into 18 3 times, and you get 3 over 5 left over. Okay, so you can make 3 batches of cookies, 3 complete batches of cookie, and 3/5 of another one. If you want to draw that out with sticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'll make groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's one group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a third group. You can make 3 batches of cookies. And you try and make another group of 5, but you can't, but you can make 3 out of the 5 that you want to. Okay? That's it. Oh, you know what I keep forgetting to do? For day 2 and 3, I forgot to completely do the first sheet. So I'm going to go back in day 4, and I'm going to do the first sheet. And my apologies, I will, because you have to do both. The first sheet's a lot of practice, just simple questions. Yeah, but nevertheless, I still want you to, okay, so you don't lose track of those questions. First one, is that 2,000? 2,876 minus 1787. Again, it's just practicing your daily skills. Alright, so borrow, this becomes a 16, this becomes 16, 16 and 7 is 9, 8, 0, 1. 1089 is number 1. Number 2, change the improper fraction to mixed numbers. 16 over 5 becomes 3 1/5. 27 over 6 becomes 4. 6 goes 4 times, which is 24, and 3 6, or 4.5. Number 3 is 34 times 34 times 23. 34 times 23, just 2 whole numbers being multiplied. That's 12. That's a 10. That's an 8. That's a 6. Answer 782. Remember to move 1 over when you multiply a second number. Third one, 286 divided by 5. 5 goes into 28 5 times. 36. 5 goes into 36 7 times, which is 35. 1. Add a decimal, so you can bring a 0. And 5 goes into 10 2 times. Final answer 57.2. Okay. Number 5. Brianna has saved $32, 1/4 of the money she earned from babysitting. How much money did she earn babysitting? Well, okay, here we go. Interesting, nice question. I'll use a diagram for this. 1/4. So this much is how much she spent. She saved. Wait. She has saved $32. $32 represents 1/4. Okay, so how much has she saved babysitting? Well, this is how much saved. Okay, another 1/4. So this is 32. Another 1/4 would be 32. Another 1/4 would be 32. Another 1/4 would be 32. Okay. So, how much did she make? Well, this is how much she made. Okay. 3/4. She made 4/4, right, which is the whole thing. 3/4, I guess she spent, and then 1/4 she managed to save. So how much she make initially? Combined would be 32 times 4, which is 148. Okay. 6 is all the factors of 20. Again, you can tell these problems are just skill problems. Okay, 20. Just drilling skills. 120, 210, no 3, but 4 and 5. 7, 2/3 and 1/5. Okay, 2/3 times 1/5. And that equals to 2/15. Okay. Next one, order the decimals in order. In order. Order the decimals in order. Let me change this. Okay, to put decimals in order, and that's a topic I'll be doing later, but let's see if you remember. Best thing is to line them up. 3.5. Back to the next one, right under each other, 3.05. Next one says 3.051. The next one is 3.51. What I would then do is add placeholders, 0, 0, 0, so that everybody is same size. Okay, and you want to order this from least to great as well. This can be read as 3,500. This can be read 3,050, 3,051, 3,500. Pretend a decimal is not there for a second when you're ordering. Okay, if you want to think like that, it does make a difference. All right, and we'll put the decimal back. So let's just for a second pretend the decimals are not there. Who's your smallest number? Your smallest number would be this guy here, 3,050. Second smallest would be 3,051. Third one would be 3,500, and the last one would be 3,510, being the biggest number. Now, add a decimal back. That's the same exact answer. Okay. 9. Ooh. So 9, asking you to put it in as a decimal and as a percent. So half, that's easy enough. Okay. How do we change that to a decimal? Everybody knows by now, hopefully, that's 0.5. But how do you get 0.5? Okay. You divide 1 half. 1 over 2 is the same thing as saying 1 divided by 2. 2 does not go into 1, so you add a 0, add a decimal, which allows you to put a 0 there. 2 goes into 10 5 times. That's how 1/2 becomes 0.5. And how does 0.5 become a percent? You move the decimal 2 spaces to the right, you move it once, twice, and that becomes 50%. 1 over 4, the same thing as 0.25, which if I move the decimal becomes 25%. Okay, and 1/4 becomes 0.25. You can divide 1 divided by 4. Let's see if it does. 4 does not go into 1, so add a 0, add a decimal. Put a 0 here. 4 goes into 10 2 times, which is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring another 0 down. And 4 goes into 25 times. That's how I got 0.25. Okay? Nice little practice here. I'm not going to do the mean, median, and mode because you don't need that. Okay? And that's that. And day 4 needs a word. There. Let me stop.